Hi, my name is Dan Borchard, a student in Professor Christensen's class. I was asked to choose an article and provide a brief presentation on that article. The article that I chose is The Hidden Costs of Organizational Dishonesty. In this article, the focus is really to outline and shed light on the effects that dishonesty within an organization can have. More and more, it seems like in our world today, we're hearing about ethics and ethics trainings being implemented in universities and in workplaces. There's more and more misrepresentation. There's more and more dishonesty in organizations. And the thing that is really emphasized in this article is all of the long-term effects that can be had. For some organizations, they'll actually condone dishonest practices and unethical things with the idea that it's going to give them that short-term gain. They just oftentimes aren't factoring in the lasting effects that will be had because of those practices. So they compare it to a tumor and say that dishonesty within an organization is like a tumor in that it can spread rapidly, it can be very difficult to trace, and it can be terminal. And they actually identify these outcomes as malignancies. The first malignancy that is a result of dishonesty within an organization is poor reputation and less business return. In today's world, and really since probably the beginning of time, reputation was huge in business. It's gotten to be more and more of a key piece of being able to generate business and recruit clients with the internet and with social media, in that your reviews can make or break your ability to function as an organization and as a business. And it's become easier to communicate to the world of your experience. So companies have to be very careful with how they treat their clients and how they treat their customers, in that if a customer has a bad experience, they can go online and their voice can be heard around the globe. Edison W. Spencer said, "It takes years to build a good business reputation, but one false move can destroy that reputation overnight." And that's the truth. Again, going back to the ability of customers and clients to spread the good word or spread negative about an organization in today's world has never been as easy, and never been as potentially dangerous or as potentially positive as it is today. The second malignancy discussed in the article is mismatches between values of employees and the organization. So for employees, if you have an honest employee and they see that dishonesty is condoned within the organization in practice, that's going to be disheartening to them and going to be something that ultimately will drive them away and cause them to find an organization that is honest and that supports their belief system and their moral compass. The three things that they discussed in the article on this topic are increased absenteeism. Not only people just not coming to work, but also when they're there, if they're honest and there's dishonest practices, they won't engage in it. They won't be as passionate in what's happening because it's against what they believe. Lower job satisfaction. Those key people that are making the difference in the organization, if they are honest and feeling like they're fighting against the organization, that's going to lead to them having lower job satisfaction, and again, ultimately to them leaving the organization. The last one that follows the first two is higher turnover. In the article, it talks about the cost of recruiting, the cost of training, and the cost associated with a higher turnover rate. And this is certainly an effect of dishonesty within an organization. Often losing those people that you would want to keep most in your organization, again, for the short-term gain. The third malignancy outlined is increased surveillance, and this was almost, presented as a need or a potential solution, but also highlighting the effects that dishonesty has. So essentially, the article is saying even if the organization is able to see the effects that dishonesty is having within their organization, and they decide to change that, it's not going to happen overnight. It's going to be difficult to trace down to see really where those unethical practices are occurring and who is the biggest proponent of them, and then turn it around. Not to mention changing the perception of the customer, the client, and in today's world, everyone potentially that read a review or saw or heard about practices that the organization was involved in. So increased surveillance as one of the malignancies is difficult as well, in the sense that it can create a lack of trust in employees. It can create kind of a feeling within the employees where it's not bad unless I get caught. Trying to work the system and see what they can get away with, and creating anxiety for them too, where they feel like they're always being watched, and if they're not being watched, they don't need to worry about it, because it's only bad if you get caught. So increased surveillance is an issue that comes along with with having that dishonesty within your organization, and something that is a negative effect of it. You can see with this chart a number of points that are highlighted, some of which I just mentioned. So really, the takeaway from this article is that honesty within an organization is absolutely critical, and something that is becoming less and less prevalent and more important. And appreciate this article, appreciate organizations that are honest. I know as a customer, as a client myself, I have had both experiences, and it's very obvious as a customer or client, the organizations that are honest versus the ones that are not. And those ones that are the ones that get the long-term customers and will have it easier in the long run.